Welcome back to the Collegiate Live, the official podcast of GRCC student publication, The Collegiate. In today's episode, a potential Supreme Court case that would affect the protections for marriage equality, and tips for incoming students as we approach the new school year. Plus, a look back at our summer watch list and all the movies we've reviewed. As the time of recording this, just a couple of days ago, Kim Davis, a former Kentucky county clerk, sent in an official motion for the Supreme Court to look into, in the fall, this will be in September, look into overturning the act that allowed gay marriage to be legal. This was in 2015. In 2015, this was right after gay marriage became legal. She was a Kentucky county clerk, and she, as the Kentucky county clerk, acted in opposition to the federal laws and refused to give a gay couple a marriage license, despite the law stating that they could, in fact, get married. And as a result, she was removed from that position because she was, in contempt of the Supreme Court. And now, exactly 1 decade later, she is now asking the Supreme Court to overturn that same decision so that something like that would be illegal. She cited religious freedom for this act, saying that the ruling that made gay marriage legal back in 2015 was in violation of her First Amendment right to freedom of religion, saying that asking her in her job to give marriage licenses to people who she believed, based on her religion, should not have had them, was a violation of her rights. This is different than the recently overturned Roe v. Wade, which cited that it wasn't the federal government's job, and the Supreme Court didn't have the jurisdiction to make that decision, so that was given to the states to decide, because they thought that was a state's decision. This, if the Supreme Court decided to overturn it, would be a federal overturning and would overrule state decisions. So, potentially a very momentous change.
See, her logic doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, she's arguing that they're oppressing her religious freedom, but isn't what she was trying to do oppressing the gay people's, freedom to be married? It's like a kind of almost like logical fallacy in a way. Like, she's arguing, you're taking my religious freedom, but then she herself is trying to take the gay people's freedom to just be married, It's like,
well, I feel like there's a difference between having the freedom to practice your religion and using your freedom of religion to impact other people's civil rights. And that's the whole issue with that is, you have the right in America to believe in whatever you'd like, but you can't use the law to also hinder other people's freedoms as well.
Right. Yeah, it is weird that she would take a job like that and then get almost shocked when she had to, hand it out to a gay couple, It's like, what did she really expect was going to...
Well, with that logic, it's just okay, well then we can, cut off a bunch of rights just because they're impeding on other people's beliefs, and that's not how our law system works.
Right. Many believe that the Supreme Court won't even take the case because we have a separation of church and state.
Exactly.
So
So it goes back to the interpretation of the Constitution. There are people that believe that the Constitution, the way it was written, should be interpreted exactly the way it was written, and the problem with that is, it was written a lot of years ago. And so there are decisions that weren't covered in the Constitution. And so when trying to fill in those gaps, do you try to apply the logic that the founders had in mind and try to rule the way they might have ruled based on that? Or do you try to adapt that ruling to match what the current U.S. system looks like and try to make the most sort of thematically consistent decision that isn't necessarily what they had in mind, but does match how these policies have grown over time?
Fundamentalist, the way you described it, is a very flawed ideology, because the founding fathers themselves were very flawed human beings. I mean, Jefferson had slaves and had children with said slaves. Benjamin Franklin had his share of skeletons in the closet. Sure. These were not perfect people. We should adapt and change,
If we're talking about framers too, they weren't even really that religious, at the point when they were writing the Constitution. There's a reason why we have separation from church and state. You can't take that. Yeah, I mean,
good ideas.
Yeah, it's a belief, and we should not be there are so many people in the world, and if we go off of religious belief, then we will never have, there's a difference between religious belief and morals of a country.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it doesn't even make sense that you can take your religious belief and bring it into court, because there is that separation of church and state. At that point, if we are allowing this to go through, then when does it end?
And like Ava pointed out, it is experts are saying that it is likely that they don't even take the case, both because it would be a complicated situation between the separation of church and state, but also it's just a complicated decision to try to make. Roe v. Wade was simpler to overturn because they weren't really overturning it; they were just passing on who was responsible for deciding it.
It's your problem.
This would actually be overturning it, and it would be much more complicated, and comes into contact with that same sort of First and Second Amendment debates that people have been having for years. What exactly does the right to bear arms mean? How far does religious freedom go? Is it the right to practice religion or the right to use your religion to decide things? How much power can you take over somebody else with your religion? These are conversations that really haven't ended. And in the Trump era, specifically, they are placing a lot of emphasis on religious freedom and religious fundamentalism, saying that if something matches what the Bible says, or even what modern Christianity says, whether it matches the Bible or not, is the way to go and is the most patriotic American traditional values system. And so it is likely that the Trump administration and their arms of media is going to be in favor of this. And considering how Republican majority most of the branches of the government are, it's likely that most of them agree with it. So it really just comes down to, are they willing to unpack all of that complicated context to make the change?
And I feel like the bigger aspect of this story is the fact that nowadays people are thinking that they can just take their beliefs and just because
force them on others.
Just because we have such a radical president and he's doing things really that aren't not by textbook, not by the law, and you have people thinking that they can take these liberties now and openly why can't I think of the word? Openly discriminate against people, just because our president obviously does not care about people's. I feel like he is the most open president we've ever had about really just not caring about certain rights that we have as citizens.
I didn't mean to cut you off. The reason they do that is they've been proven right thus far. It's like a lot of people have been doing that, the discriminating and stuff under the Trump administration, and they've gotten away with it multiple times, And
it should be noted that Kim Davis asking the Supreme Court, even formally, does not mean they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
It is ultimately just her asking them to do it.
It is still concerning, though.
And the idea of overturning this, I believe, was in Project 2025. It's, the idea of the Trump administration overturning gay marriage is not that radical of an idea for them to do. This was sort of, a lot of people were warning that this would happen. Their rhetoric has been pointing to it. So it's not that her asking them to do this introduced an idea they hadn't already been thinking of or made it happen into law, but it does mean that the conversation is much more direct. And so the question is, all right, if there's pressure to do so, if they have permission, granted because people are asking them to, I'm using air quotes if you're listening to the audio-only version, then will they make this decision now because someone's asking them to?
Right. And it's also, there's also other things entwined with, like, the law that allows gay marriage or just, like, in general.
In general, this just sets like
It took them years to make interracial marriage a federal thing. I know states kind of slowly, stopped enforcing the whole interracial marriage is illegal.
Even if that's like embedded in some of that like legal stuff with gay marriage, I feel like, I'm not sure exactly, but you'd have to think that the Civil Rights Acts that came out in the 60s, 70s would have a lot of that in there as well. So I don't think this change, if this were ever to change, I don't think that would be the end, to interracial marriage. I think also that applies to some of those Civil Rights Acts that you're not going to overturn.
It's also important to recognize that one of the Supreme Court justices is in an interracial marriage currently. Clarence Thomas is a black man married to a white woman, and so there are people, when Roe v. Wade was overturned and abortion became a state issue, some states banned it, but key political figures still had access to abortions, even though it was technically illegal, because they had the power to do that. It's unclear if Clarence Thomas could skirt an overturning of interracial marriage. Hard to say if that would happen.
That would be a little harder to do, though,
right,
because an abortion is, easy to hide. You just go into a clinic,
That's an act versus a
Yeah.
long-standing relationship.
Yeah, like a marriage. This isn't Star Wars, Anakin and Padme, hide it, but yeah, that would be harder to, hide is my point.
I think overall it's just really sad and sometimes scary, especially if you are these minorities that are being attacked, but also just the overall sense that, how Trump has affected our atmosphere of the country.
Yeah.
You can really openly discriminate. You can do things that are really what we should not be allowing, and it's just kind of normal now. Like if we're talking about in terms of Roe v. versus Wade, like there were a bunch of acts that were passed to protect people going into abortion clinics, because their protesters get violent sometimes. And there was an incident in Detroit, Michigan, where protesters blocked a clinic, and women or abortion seekers who needed to get in there and seek medical attention weren't able to do so. And that was violating the law, and
Right.
Trump pardoned all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like these people were like endangering other American citizens physically, and they were pardoned and they weren't held accountable. It's like,
Not
where's our
surprised.
country coming to at this point?
Yeah. I mean,
Madness.
also any of the people that stormed the Capitol and
Yeah, it's
I
just,
was
yeah.
about-
We're
I was
also
about to-
pardoned.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, after he pardoned attempted insurrectionists, I'm not surprised that he pardoned people blocking the abortion clinics. And they did a lot more than that. Didn't they, hit someone's car? Weren't they?
They, from what I read, plastered posters and
Yeah. They
just
were
really
basically
bad messages.
They were threatening them, yeah. And it's
and it's, yeah.
and he's pardoning these freaking they've basically let their beliefs get so out of hand that they're doing crap like this. What is happening?
And increasingly, America and the American government is being led by personal belief systems, especially belief systems that are, at least on the surface, religiously based. There's a bunch of debate about how religiously accurate a lot of these statements are, but it is a government that is quickly becoming. This feels like it's the religiously correct, the traditionally correct, the American patriotic decision, and so the decision is less based on the law or on the tradition of the law, and more on what is the message that I'm sending with this. I will pardon the people that supported me. I'll pardon the people that are doing things I think are accurate. I won't send any troops in on January 6th to disperse protesters, but I will send troops down into Washington, D.C., despite the fact that nothing is happening in Washington, D.C. And this feels like the atmosphere of the politics and of the country as a whole has gotten to the point where somebody is actively and formally asking the Supreme Court to overturn the Marriage Equality Act, which is only a decade old. And the response seems to be, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that is potentially the bigger issue, is not that it's a potentially terrifying concept that this would happen. But the fact that no one's surprised might also be a significant problem.
Yeah, the government, it's supposed to be like a guiding hand, Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, make you think okay, we're safe at least,
The vice
someone's
president
in
used to be
charge,
the-
and we've gone erratic.
The vice president of the U.S. used to be the person who came in second in the race. So
Yep, the
people
old
would vote,
days,
and then
the
the person who
olden
won would be
times.
president. So you wouldn't have a running mate like you do now, and
Yeah.
that's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, we've gone a long way from a unifying figure, and
I
we've
mean-
become.
Sorry.
Oh my
Something else.
God, no one's
With-
unified anymore. We're erratic.
I mean, we can have some hope in that the Supreme Court wouldn't take this case because of how obviously religious it falls. There's really no evidence other than her religious beliefs that she has a basis for. But also in nicer notes, we do have civil rights organizations that are fighting for these things, especially including the ACLU. And, I think if students really want to get involved in these things, they can reach out. They can continue to get information from those organizations and help in any way that they can. It would benefit everyone, I believe.
As the summer winds down and the new school year begins, GRCC will start to welcome a new batch of freshmen coming into the school for the first time. Members of this collegiate staff issued their advice for how to make the most of your time at GRCC.
First advice, try not to interrupt your teachers. They don't like it very much.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, also, we're not in high school anymore. I
True.
just feel like
They're-
it's like embarrassing to interrupt your teachers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Like,
you're here, you're paying good money to be here, or somebody is.
Yeah.
the biggest difference between high school and college is that in high school you get in trouble for bad behavior. In college, you don't. It's just embarrassing, and everyone
Yes.
judges you for it. So
Yeah.
just don't for your own self-respect.
Yeah, if you don't want people talking about you in the hallway after class, then
Also, it helps to find a routine that you can settle into. If you have time between classes, find somewhere on campus you want to hang out and work. There's a lot of different like spots. There are couches and chairs and benches all throughout the building. You can find a spot you can work. Maybe you go to their grill. We'll talk about that in a second. Maybe you leave the campus, but find a spot that you can go to, find a routine. GRCC it feels really big when you first get here, but if you can find spots that you feel like you can sort of exist in, it helps to make it feel less intimidating.
Google Maps is your friend. This
Google
place
Maps.
is big. You want to know where you're going. Like when I had a class at Sneeden Hall, oh God, I had to use Google Maps and I was still wandering around.
Sneeden Hall is a different campus that's about, 10 to 15 minutes away from the main
Something
campus that
like
we're in
that.
right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also
But
important to note-
Oh, sorry.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that there is a shuttle that's
There
you
is a
can
shuttle.
take.
There was a shuttle.
Goes-
Even though that
and
shuttle's
it's-
kind of sketchy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does take a
And it
little
takes
while.
forever to get there.
There
so I
was
just
one time,
walk. I'm
yeah,
like, screw it.
I did walk from Sneeden to the main campus, and I beat the bus.
I beat the bus every time. I walked there and then I would run back, you know.
That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
and word to the wise.
Oh.
If you are driving your own car, do not park on that hill that connects like Sneeden
yeah.
to the thing because it is a track during the winter to get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I walked to Sneeden in
Oh,
winter.
that brings me
That
to
does not
my
sound very
next
fun.
tip.
Every day.
Beware of ice.
Well, no, not.
Beware
Every
of
day I had
ice.
gender studies.
Especially in the parking lot. Beware of ice. You will slip. You will fall.
Like, as in frozen water.
Yeah.
Yep. Beware the ice. You know, you think you won't slip and fall. You will slip and fall.
Yeah.
So just be aware so you can land on your hands so that way you don't, injure yourself and break something.
Practice safe falling before you get to campus.
Yes.
That way, when you fall, because
Yeah.
everyone falls on campus. I think all of us have fallen at some point on
My
campus.
advice:
Ooh, I have a
walk
plan.
through snow drifts.
You have?
You'll get your pant legs wet, but
I
you
tripped on
won't
the stairs
fall.
once. That's the whole thing. Ava, what was your point?
Oh no, this is completely different. But
That's fine.
advice for first classes or anything like that, it is really good to make friends.
Yeah.
And I know it feels awkward, but like literally you can like the first day be like, do you have a number? Do you have Instagram? And make friends because everyone feels awkward, but I think everyone wants to make college friends.
Yeah.
And no one is gonna be like, ew, no, because I've never had that experience. I guess it could happen.
It could happen, but it's rare.
But it's rare. Yes.
It's rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
1000%.
Anytime I have asked just like someone like if they want to hang outside of class or study or anything, they've just been very excited and happy.
People like having other people in their orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easier, like for note taking stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
If you miss a class or whatever, and they're in the class, you can just ask
Yeah.
them for notes and stuff. Like
And also
that.
just to know somebody in the class so
Yeah.
it feels less
Yes.
intimidating to go to, and it feels
Right.
like it's a
Yes.
less stressful environment to be in.
Less like
Yeah.
a chore and more like a get to.
Yeah,
A
I
gets
at least
to,
get to
not
be
a
with the
got
person I
to.
care about instead of
Yeah.
having to,
Yes. Yeah.
Advice: if you take the rapid shuttle bus, get there early if you can, because the bus drivers make their own time. You
Yeah.
never know when they're going to show up on the bus. Just most of the people are nice enough. Just try not to be a jerk on the bus.
Sure.
Like just try to keep to yourself as much as possible.
Also, if you are using the bus, you can go to student services and get a rapid
Yes.
card there,
Yes.
and you will get cheaper rides.
Which
You'll get
isn't-
it for free.
Yeah, and it's not just for the shuttle; it is for all rapid buses throughout the city, which is a great thing to do.
And sorry, I mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Your Raider card can get you into the public museum, I think.
It's
Pick and
the public
public
museum,
museum.
the art museum, the zoo. You have to get a separate. Yeah, also in the student center, you can get I think it's called a Go CJR card.
Yeah.
Because somebody mentioned routine.
No.
Find a restaurant you like and get used to eating there would be my advice, because you can cut down your
Sure.
time. Like I eat at either Potatoes or the Raider Grill, and I can whip my body around this place like you wouldn't believe.
I got the same food every day at the Radar Grill for an entire year.
Good choice.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it does help to have a routine to know.
Yes.
It got to the point where the person taking orders at the Radar Grill knew what I ordered every day. So it got like
That's-
I'd be in line and I wouldn't even say anything. I'd walk up and he already had the food and was giving it
That's-
to me, and it was the coolest I've ever felt.
That's Avery with my hot dogs. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. Okay, Jamie. So let me guess. Toast your hot dogs in the microwave with cheese. I'm like, attaboy.
Nice.
He goes, what kind of smoothie will it be? I'm like, strawberry or whatever. Attaboy. We here at the Collegiate are not supported by Patatas. Jamie, however, does find their food very delicious. So there you go.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
Not one.
Also, Sneeden, if you are at
Sneeden.
Sneeden,
Yeah.
has a cafe also.
Lots of cafes.
Also, the hospital cafeteria.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
that's a
It's
good
like
option.
5-minute walk. They got
The Children's
Chipotle-
Hospital?
No, they have Qdoba.
Qdoba, that
Which is
chicken.
better than
Qdoba,
Children's
Hospital?
Starbucks,
Yeah, Qdoba, Starbucks,
Zoop.
Zoop.
What a good name.
The Children's
Right
Hospital.
down the road.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Children's
You
Hospital.
can just go in there and get
Yeah.
food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The cafeteria is open to the public.
Yeah, you can also go
Huh.
to
Well, the
the other
entire
core-
hospital is open to the public.
yeah,
but,
the
you know,
Corewell Health. They have like
the food court.
the food court. It's also important to note that we actually had a student cover this just last semester, places to eat on or around campus, and you can read that at thecollegiatelive.com.
Yeah, yeah. It's also important to note that the main campus, which we're in currently, has two buildings. One of them is called Cook Hall, and one of them is called RJF. They are connected, so it is technically one giant building. But there are maps throughout the building on the wall, and those are your friend. There is no shame in looking at the map. I will still occasionally look at the map if I get lost, because it is a little bit confusing how rooms are numbered.
Cook and RJF are divided by the middle staircase.
Yes, yeah. So it's one. There are two buildings that are connected, so you don't have to like walk out of the building to get into the next
Yes.
one. But there are a different set of numbers on each room, and so the numbering system is a bit confusing. But also, if you get lost, ask somebody. I've had so many people. I'm just sitting, working on something, and they'll, hey, do you know where this room is? Ask people, and they'll.
I actually made a friend that way.
People are friendly. They want to help.
Yeah, exactly.
Another piece of advice. The elevators can get a bit confusing because some of them don't. I forget which ones
Right.
don't go to G2, or they don't go to the cafeteria
The one in
area.
RJF goes to the cafeteria.
Yeah,
down in
the other
basement.
one
The other one does
doesn't.
not.
Yeah, and what was the other thing I was going to mention? The safety walks or whatever that the cops will do.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah. If you feel unsafe ever, or if you just want to feel extra safe, you can call the campus police and they will walk you to your car.
Yeah.
The parking ramps do get dark, and if you're working on campus, they are more than happy. Or even if you're just a student, yeah, they are more than happy to walk you.
Someone else. Bring clothes for every type of weather.
He's not
basically.
kidding.
No, sure. Yeah.
Because during the winter, obviously it's really cold, so you're gonna be wearing a hoodie and stuff like that. But wear a t-shirt underneath because the building and in some parts can get
Layers are
pretty
your
hot.
friend.
Yeah, layers are your friend.
Yeah.
Bring even in the summer or even in I don't know, when it starts to get super warm out or August at the start of the year, bring a hoodie because there's some buildings that get really cold.
Yeah.
Even when it's 80 degrees out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Different-
AC, man.
Yeah, different professors keep their
Yes.
Yeah. also
their
true.
rooms
Yes.
at different temperatures. I would go to astronomy and I would know that it was going to be nice and warm so I could be ready to just be cozy. And then I knew that I had to go to Spanish and it would be frigid.
Oh, sure.
I have to pack layers.
The gym is free for everyone,
Yeah.
all the college students. There's a track around the basketball court. Obviously, you can play basketball at certain times. It depends on when sports teams are practicing. They are finishing up the new rec center, technically. New rec center. That'll be done by the start of the school. They're going to have a turf field, a whole new weightlifting area. So if you like to lift weights,
Yeah.
get swole, go there. Also free. You just probably have to show your school ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the machines in the
Yep.
downstairs too. And that's located at Ford Field House. Feel free to utilize the office hours of your professors because
Yes.
they really, really do want to help you.
Yes.
I have not had a professor that did not want me to succeed in their class.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes,
That's the big
yes,
one. They
yes.
they will answer almost any question and they
Yes.
want you to
And if you
they
don't
want you to ask questions.
have time to go to office hours, most professors have a 24 hours or 48 hours that they will answer their emails.
Yeah.
Like they have that in their syllabus.
Ultimately, it comes down to just don't be afraid to do things. People aren't going to judge you. If you want to talk to somebody that you haven't talked to, if you want to ask for directions, if you want to look at a map, if you want to, it's okay to do things.
I was going to mention there's also a tutoring center and a printing center where you can print stuff off for, I forget the exact amount of money.
10 cents per paper.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you
10 cents per paper.
if it's black and white, I'm pretty sure. Also, if you are looking for a job, you can find school jobs on the GRCC page. They have them listed out with different qualifications, and if you do get a job, you get free parking.
Yeah. Which is great.
That's huge. Free parking is huge.
Yep.
Enjoy the ride, folks. It's gonna be
fun.
one heck of one.
Yeah, it's fun. It is. College is a fun experience. You're gonna meet so many new people. You're gonna meet the professors are not like high school teachers at all, guys.
Yeah.
They aren't. Don't be afraid to if you're running late, message them.
Yeah.
Send them email like, hey, I'm gonna be late.
Yeah,
They usually do not care.
As long as you don't miss. What's the number? Is it 4 weeks in a row, or is it?
Yeah, show up to class.
Yeah, it's something. Then
Although I do gotta say,
2 weeks in a row with no contact.
yeah, from my experience, do not if you miss a day, do not email the professor asking
what you missed.
If it was important or not, because
They take that
guys,
personal.
It's always important.
Everything is important in college. It may not seem it at the time, but it is important.
Yeah. And that's why it's also nice to have friends in class.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
At the beginning of the summer, the Collegiate started their summer Watchlist guide, reviewing different movies that came out during the summer and sharing what to watch and what to potentially avoid. Now, at the end of the summer, we look back at the movies we liked and some that we didn't, and talk about what we think about the list overall. News editor Afa West talks about her experience watching the new season of The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay, so not obviously, none of you have seen it, right?
No.
That is.
Okay.
I think that is
okay.
obvious,
So
yeah.
it's just gonna be
Isn't
me
it
ranting
based
for
on a book?
Yes, I've read the books. It's based on a trilogy, and so
can
this
read.
is the third and final season of the show. The third season is gonna be longer than the first and second season, so I'm really
nice.
excited about that. But last week's episode, I haven't seen this week's episode because we're filming Wednesday morning, and they come out on Wednesday, but I haven't seen it yet, so.
So no spoilers.
So no spoilers for this week, but no, for anything else is on the table. Okay, so obviously I'm Team Conrad, and that's very important to me and near and dear to my heart because Jeremiah actually cheated on her. So I don't know why we're acting like he didn't. That man slept with literally, how could he? They were on a break. I'm doing quotation marks. They were on a break. Yes,
Was this
very
Friends
Ross.
season 3?
Very Ross and Rachel. Very Ross and Rachel. And he slept with a girl twice. So one
Twice?
time is maybe a mistake. I don't condone that.
But two times is a choice.
you're making a
There's
choice.
a pattern now.
Jeremiah. We all hate Jeremiah, right, guys?
I do.
Get the fork.
Yeah,
Get
boo!
the pitch.
We
all
Get
say
the
boo
to Jeremiah.
torches.
Conrad, on the other hand, is in med school and has always loved her even before
He's
she
a
was
keeper.
pretty. Yes, he is. He is a keeper. And last week he narrated the episode, and it was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. The peach scene. For any people that have seen the peach scene is very. I don't know why some of y'all were calling it cringy though, because that was about to piss me off. She's eating this peach, and she's there's juices running down her face, and she looks so pretty because it's from his perspective. And then this is kind of crazy, but I mean, she is engaged to his brother. But he dated her. He dated her first.
I'm so lost right now.
True love never
And then they
dies.
broke up at prom. But
Oh,
he
at
dated her
prom?
first. And he was grieving his mother. And then so now he's with the other brother. And the peach scene. So she's eating the peach, and then he's wearing his white shirt, and he has khakis, and he's looking very grown up, and he's going to therapy. We love a man that goes to therapy. He's going to therapy. Jeremiah would never. He has to be a super senior because he missed an email in his inbox.
Missing an email.
how could you?
Literally one email. How?
That's
well,
terrible.
actually, a couple
One
emails.
email being that. I hate emails.
He has to
That's
20
Check your dang
$24,000
email,
that his
Jeremiah.
dad has to pay for another semester, and he proposes to her with this little tinfoil looking ring, the tiniest
got out of
diamond
a
you've ever
cracker.
seen. He wants to pay more for the cake than he wants to pay for the ring.
I've never been so adamantly against a man that is fictional and I've never even seen before.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, it's like propose. And he wasn't even down on one knee. Her brother almost died, and they were like, she was really mad because she found out that he cheated on her.
Sure.
One, he did not tell her. She had to find out at a party from the girl. Never. No. So then, her brother almost dies in a car accident. So she's at the hospital, but her and Jeremiah aren't talking because she's mad at him for cheating on her. But of course, he shows up, he waits in the lobby, and he's there. And then they go outside and they talk things through. And she's like, maybe I can see how we were on a break, but I would have never done that to you. But then they get back together, and then he's like, to patch things up, he's like, Belly, will you marry me? But he's standing up, and he doesn't have a ring. And then when he does have a ring, it looks like a guitar string. It's stupid and ugly. Meanwhile, Conrad has just always been in love with her. He's about to be a doctor.
Oh.
He respects her.
Respect.
He would never have cheated on her.
Rip
And
headphone users.
he wipes the peach juice off of her with his shirt.
I don't know what this scene means, but I'm
And
captivated.
Fleetwood Mac is playing in the background.
Like actually, or like through a speaker?
Horses.
Is Fleetwood Mac there, or are they playing it on like a CD player?
No, it's just like in the
Probably in the
background of the
background.
show.
Post,
okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any idea what the heck's going on?
I do.
I don't know, but I'm very captivated.
I'm interested in the peach scene. Not
Yeah, I
gonna
know what the
lie.
peach scene is now,
I'm trying to, as she's describing the peach scene, I'm like trying to
It feels very
imagine
significant.
what it's like.
Oh my god, wait, I should bring it up. We should all watch
Hashtag Team Conrad.
Yes, of course.
I'm very
yes, of
Team
course.
Conrad, and I don't
Thank
even know
you,
why.
Thank
I don't
you.
even know why.
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
answer me something? Is this the new Team Edwards versus Team Jacob?
Yeah,
thing?
except for they're not vampires or werewolves. This is like the equivalent of the Mr. Darcy flex, the hand flex.
Oh
scene.
yeah.
I think everyone should
It
watch.
wasn't just Conrad.
You should
Belly
watch it
felt
and get back
too.
to me. You'll be Team Conrad.
I'll just text you at 3 a.m. in a couple of days. Ava, I
How
have
dare you!
I have thoughts!
I've been up for 12 hours. That's not very much. I've been up for 30. Yeah, that's whatever. The joke's dead.
So, all in all, we are loving the third season. There's going to be 11 episodes. We have so much has already happened, and it's been 5 episodes. So we still have more than half of the season left, and I'm scared because I read the books, and I feel like we're reaching the end of the book. So I don't know what happens.
Uh-oh, that's never a good sign.
No.
That's what
But
killed Game
Jenny
of
Hart,
Thrones.
also the author of the trilogy, she directed that episode,
Uh-huh.
and that's why it's so female gaze and so beautiful. And
Listen, we need more of that in media.
literally,
Better than the alternative, I guess.
Yeah.
yes. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Jamie Miller also recently watched The Old Guards 2 and has some thoughts on that.
Yes, I did watch The Old Guard too. To give you a little context, before we start this whole horse and pony show, the original Old Guard popped out on Netflix. It's been years. It was really creative. It was a really good movie. It was based on a comic series. And I'm sure you're familiar with the premise. A gang of immortals, basically, who work as like soldiers, mercenaries, that kind of stuff. Really creative, really fun premise. The sequel is an abomination.
Oof.
Well, like, there's action in the beginning. Yay!
Yeah.
Kudos! And then it goes to a slog. It slows to a grinding halt. Like, it's just boring. Like, you have Charlize Theron, one of the greatest action actresses in our time. Like, if you've seen the movie Atomic Blonde, girl can act her butt off, especially in action roles, and they waste her. They had Uma Thurman. The woman is action movie royalty, playing the playing the bad guy.
Sure.
They utterly wasted her. They basically retcon stuff for no reason other than I can imagine the people were like, let's retcon it because we can retcon it, and no one's here to stop us. The plot just gets nonsensical at times. They're adding too many bells and whistles and stuff. Like the original movie, the reason it kind of worked was it was simple. It was simplistic. You know, they're a gang of immortals. No one knows why they're immortal. Occasionally the immortality runs out after, you know, a set amount of time. No one knows how long. It's different for everyone. They have to introduce the plot point of, oh, this one character, if she injures someone, then they become mortal again. And it's like, what? Why? Why? Why?
Sure.
Yeah, and so cue me saying that at my television screen over and over again. And on top of all of that, they commit the cardinal sin of an action movie, the absolute pit's worst sin you can commit, especially for a Netflix anything.
What?
They ended on a cliffhanger.
Oh, I love cliffhangers.
Cliffhangers are very divisive.
I love cliffhangers, especially like as long as you know that there's going to be another season. I can enjoy cliffhangers.
That's the thing with Netflix is they love canceling crap. And then they had the one character whose motivations made absolutely no sense. Like she's just completely manic, except when she's not. And it's like,
isn't that the point of manic?
well,
Does it not make sense?
Well, she's supposed to hate the old guard, you know.
Okay.
She hates them because she blames them for her being imprisoned in Iron Maiden underwater for not millions, but thousands or something years, you know, since the time of the Spanish Inquisition. I'm not good with, you know, years. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, she's a good guy now. No real, you know, reason she turns good. It's just, oh, she hates Uma Thurman because she betrayed her. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But she didn't turn evil just because of Uma Thurman. She hated Charlize Theron's character.
Sure.
What? What? I was not kind in my review. I was not kind at all.
Go check out his review at thecollegiatelive.com to
Yes.
get a more in detailed version of this.
Yes, but do not expect a normal, kind Jamie Miller review.
Yeah, just like read his article in the voice you're hearing right now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You'll understand it and feel it a lot more. I
Read
guarantee it.
every article of mine in some variation of my voice. It's way more entertaining that way.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Speaking of bad-ish movies, I recently watched Amazon Prime's Heads of State, a movie that stars Idris Elba as the Prime Minister and John Cena as the U.S. President. When the plane they're both on goes down, they end up stranded together. They don't like each other at all, but they end up growing to, you know, respect each other to some degree. It's kind of a cliche movie. There's a lot of action in it, and the action is usually pretty good. The comedy tends to land. Ultimately, what I found about this movie was just like it wasn't very good. And a lot of movies aren't very good, which makes them good. But this also was
So
just
bad it's good.
actually bad, but also kind of good. It was also kind of actually good. It was like it was trying to be a lot of things all at the same
It's
time.
a bipolar movie.
So what you're saying is it was so bad it's good,
But
basically?
it was also kind of so good it was good, and also some kind of it was so bad that it was bad. It was like it was trying to do a lot of things, and it never quite got all of them. So there were some moments when it was a good movie. It was like the action was good, the comedy was good, there was a heart to it. There was sometimes when it was like, all right, this feels like you're rambling through a plot that you didn't need to have. Like there were too many things going on, and when it got bogged down with the plot, it got really slow.
Kind of reminds me of the old school Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich, where the action and stuff was good, but they kept adding new plot points. It was like, just focus on one!
Yeah, there were so many interesting ideas in this movie, but that I can't commit to any of them because I have all of them. And so instead
And
we end up with sort of a
it overwhelms
cluttered,
you.
Yeah, cluttered mess that's sometimes really good and sometimes baffling.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it when I picked it. I specifically chose the movie when I was putting this list together because I wanted a movie that wasn't some big franchise, it wasn't a remake, and obviously it's a star vehicle for, you know, these two mega stars. But
And Priyanka Chopra.
yes, but you know, relatively
Can't
under the
forget
radar in comparison to the rest of these. So I wanted to walk into a movie I knew nothing about, and just I got I think exactly what I was expecting. Right, it wasn't fantastic, it wasn't terrible, it was a good movie. And I think in this realm, it's nice to have a good movie. It's a popcorn flick. It's a B movie. You put it on the TV, and it's fine. because I think a lot of reviews are either it's really good, it's the best thing ever, or it's terrible. And it was nice to have a movie that was just sort of
In between.
It was good.
yeah.
You know, nobody's gonna argue that it's a good movie.
In my
or a bad movie.
opinion,
Like,
too, very few movies, because you always see these reviewers bashing everything like it's a baseball bat, but
I do not like that.
no, I hate it. Very few movies are actually bad, like
Sure.
bad. Most of the things I review for the Collegiate, I know this is awkward for me to say considering I just tore the Old Guard 2 a new one. But, very few movies are like really bad. Like, for example, I use the torch system. You know how few 1 torches out of 10 I've given?
Fan 4 stick.
I didn't actually review that. I wasn't working
No,
for
I
the
know.
Collegiate. Yeah.
But
That
emotionally-
was
That's
bad.
a 1 out of I was like that's
Yeah.
a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, that was bad. But my point is, most movies I found are like 5 torches out of 10 or something like that. They're okay.
Yeah.
It's like most movies are. You can find good stuff in them if you look.
Yeah.
Even Old Guard 2, I will admit the effects were good.
Sure.
It's like most movies, like you were saying, Heads of State, there is good in it. The problem is most people just get in their heads of this movie's gonna suck. This movie's gonna suck, and they convince themselves before they've even given it a fair shake.
I feel that about like the Knives Out.
I really like Knives Out.
I like
Those
them
were
a lot.
good
I've
movies.
heard
So
I've heard
was
some
Glass.
bad reviews to it.
So was Glass Onion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for they have a Wake Up Dead Man, which is the third
Yeah, and
installment coming soon.
people just hated on Glass Onion simply because Rian Johnson directed it, and they're like, "You killed Star Wars! I will have my revenge!" Basically, and it's like, grow up.
We also all watched the new Superman movie, and we talked about that briefly in a podcast a little bit ago. But more of us have watched it since then.
Yes,
It's
like me.
pretty divisive, as people either love it or hate it, depending on how you felt about Zack Snyder's version of Superman, and how you feel about James Gunn's tone. James Gunn's tone.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it. I thought it was very
Yo,
good.
I love that movie. I
Most accurate Superman since Christopher Reeves,
Yeah.
perhaps even more in some ways.
now that I actually got to watch it, I
Yeah.
agree with that statement.
It feels like we were talking about this last week with the Fantastic Four. It feels like a comic book movie. It doesn't
Yes.
feel like a superhero movie. It feels like,
Exactly.
oh, this is lifted from the comic book pages in the best way.
Well, there's one line in that movie I think defines Superman where he says, I'm trying to remember it correctly. I mean, there's a lot of lines in that movie, but where he says maybe kindness is the real punk rock.
Sure. Yeah, and there's like a 12-minute scene where Lois Lane and Clark Kent are just talking.
It didn't feel like
that interview
12
scene
minutes.
is so good. I couldn't believe it until I
Is
saw James
that
Gunn
where
talking about
he's
it.
going, people were going
Yeah,
to die?
it's a really good talking scene.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
is.
superheroes. It's just talking, and it's
Yep.
so
It's
well
so,
written.
and it didn't feel like they were talking. It was entertaining
Yeah.
and engaging.
Did you hear that they were thinking about taking that out because it was like so long?
Yeah, it's very long, but that's actually
But like it didn't even feel like it.
that scene
No.
is how James Gunn did the chemistry test for
Yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornsweet. Is they did that scene because that scene is it's such a good character study.
Yes.
Oh
It
my
is.
God, yeah. Well, it
It's really
defines
important.
both of them. Where
Yeah.
Lois is more cautious, like there's rules to society, and Clark's like, no, people were going to die.
Yeah.
I got involved because that was the right thing to do. That is how I was raised.
They just put out a behind the scenes feature. I think yesterday, on Tuesday when we're recording this. It's an hour of behind the scenes footage, and I've seen a clip from it that is David Cornsweet and James Gunn on the set of the movie trying to talk through one of the final moments. David just couldn't quite get how to play the character, and so they just had a conversation about back and forth, and it's just like football tennis match of like trying to get to the center of the character.
Right.
And everyone cares so much about where Superman came from and how to properly portray him. It's
And-
really it comes across.
This may sound sacrilegious, but I think Nicholas Hoult is the best Lex Luthor we've ever
He
got.
did a really
I
good job.
love Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor.
Especially seeing the two of them on the press tour versus in the movie.
Yeah.
They're both
They
really good actors.
They define their characters. I mean, Superman is an alien who's human, and Lex is a human who's not. They define, in effect, Superman is the best of humanity, what we can be when we, in effect, live up to our better angels, while Lex is what we become when we give in to our worst impulses. It was a great freaking movie.
It's a very strong vision that they delivered on almost perfectly.
When he's talking about Superman's talking about, why he has to go find crypto.
Oh, that
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
scene.
that
That
was
scene
insane.
was
And she's
amazing.
like, "You're gonna do it for a dog?" Like she can't even understand
Yeah.
it. He goes, "Yeah," and he's not even a very good dog, but he's out there and he's all alone. He's
Yeah,
probably
that
scared.
that was a really good scene.
Because
It
that's
was also mainly
Superman.
because it was his cousins.
Yeah,
But
still,
well, I find it really hypocritical. Like you can tell, you have Ben Shapiro ranting about the movie and
Yeah.
and talking about how Lex Luthor was the good guy in the movie. And
well, the movie had something to say, and when a movie has something
Yep.
to say, there will always be people on both sides of that. And I think that's ultimately a sign that it was a good movie. Is that
Yep.
it has something to say and it delivered in a way that made their message unequivocal. That conversation is part of movie debate, for better or worse. But
Yeah.
I think what it shows is that it was a movie that knew exactly what it wanted to be. To see more reviews, you can check out our full summer watch list by going to thecollegiatelive.com. On behalf of the entire Collegiate staff, thank you very much for listening.
live from New York.
No, we are not.
Don't worry, guys. I'm not crashing.
She's locked in.
No, that's not it. Podcast is breaking. That's not it either. That's
We're
just the
experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
skyline. Okay.
I think that's a good stopping point, unless anyone has anything to say.
I like pie.
In today's episode, Jamie talks about why he loves pie so much.
She was.
I know, it's so hard to go back into it.
Cables. Stupid cables. Cables in the way. Deal with this every week.
Welcome to the Collegiate. When it comes to the cables, I mean,
Yes. I was like, that's my line. Don't say my line.
I do what I want, foo.
Boo.
I don't know where I'm posting this, but I just want you to know it's hard doing a show.
To Pedro Pascal.
I'm going to send this directly to his email. PedroPascal@gmail.com.
And Vanessa Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby at PedroPascal.com.
That did not sound like real words when it was coming out of my mouth.
This is cool. I have an army of people hit record for me. Oh, all right. In today's episode, I was doing so well.
Try again.
In today's episode, listen.
Just one of those days.
This is what happens whenever Mark and I record together. He just manages to pass on the intro.
I have to think of what I'm actually going to say before I start talking.
I started talking before I knew what I was going to say. It's hard being a podcaster. No one ever talks about how hard it is. Additionally, YouTube is big. Jerry Miller.
Cha-da-dee, cha-da-dee, cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha. Cha-da-dee, cha-da-dee, cha-cha-cha.
Signing off.
Signing off.
Live long and prosper.